This is Dave at TitleSearch.com. We've talked about mineral rights before. There's some new areas to discover with mineral rights research on real estate. As we know, these are rights that are split from the surface rights. There may be a different owner from the property on the surface or the structure, the house, the building, and the mineral rights underneath the ground. In order to discover mineral rights, as we know, we start from the current ownership. We chain the ownership back on the surface rights until we find where they split, and then where they split, we chain it back forward for that mineral rights portion of the ownership. We often find that at some point during that chain back or chain forward, there are multiple parcels that come into play. There may be splits in parcels. There may even be combination of parcels that make this search more complicated, because you have to find the right parcel that's being searched. If you're looking for 12 Main Street, and at some point 12 Main Street was part of a large farm, we have to keep track of all the different parcels that were split off. There also may be different use over time during that property chain of title. It may be commercial, it may be farm, it may be residential, it may have been a developer, and you go back and forth and you're going to find those different ownerships. Most important, as you're looking at mineral rights documents, you're going to find that the name associated with ownership may contain thousands of documents. The reason why is a energy company, a mining company, an oil drilling company may go through an area and purchase mineral rights on hundreds of properties, or maybe on one property that's split into hundreds of parcels. So for each company, you're going to find that every time they buy or sell mineral rights, oil rights, gas rights, there's going to be a record of that. And over the course of 50 or 100 years, there may be thousands of records of a mineral company buying parcels. For example, I don't know, Southern Pacific Mineral Company or Appalachian Coal Company. They're not just going to have one deed in the deed books showing their ownership. They're going to have one record for every single one of their mineral rights, which may be in the thousands. So the search for mineral rights has to go through each one of those, because the documents, as we now know, are indexed by name, not by address. So you have to pull up the name, find all the documents in that company name or that buyer's name, and then read through each one until you find the one that goes with the subject property. There may be some ways to narrow it down a little bit by date or by legal description, but the naming convention, the naming combinations come into play when you're looking at mineral rights or gas rights, because look, the players in that area are going to be pretty much the same. There may be one or two major companies that own or have bought up all these mineral rights, or at some point own them, that you have to go through and search all those different documents. So mineral rights searching can get complicated. The good news is the upside potential for discovering mineral rights on your property and finding the correct ownership can be pretty big. Right now, with energy prices up and with the interest in mineral rights and developing, extracting items from the ground, mineral rights can be pretty valuable.